Welcome to this video. In this video, we will look at how to run a .NET 7 Web API in Google Cloud Platform's Cloud Run. Before going to start, we need to install Visual Studio and Docker Desktop in our local machine. Also, we need Google Cloud subscription. Cloud Run. Google Cloud Run is a serverless compute platform provided by GCP that enables developers to deploy and run stateless containerized applications. First, we will create a Web API project using Visual Studio. Then we need to push the code into a repository. For that, we will create Cloud Source Repository service. Then we will create an Artifact Registry service. Next, we need to build and push the images into Artifact Registry by using Google Cloud Build service. Finally, we will create a Cloud Run service and we will consume image from Artifact Registry. First, we will create Web API project. Open Visual Studio. Select ASP.NET Core Web API project. Next, enter the project name. Change the location. Change the solution name. Next, framework we are going to use .NET 7. Docker is already enabled. Docker OS is Linux. Then create. Project has been created. First we will check the Dockerfile. The first session defines the base image. Then it sets the working directory inside the container to app and expose the port 80 and 443, which are commonly used for HTTP and HTTPS. This session set up the build stage. It uses .NET 7 SDK image, has the base image and set the working directory to src. It copies the project file to the container and restore the NuGet package using .NET restore command, and then copies the remaining source code. Then the working directory is changed and the application is built using .NET build command. The -c release flag specifies the release configuration and the -o flag set the output directory for the build artifacts. This section set up the publish stage. It used the same build image and set the output directory to app/publish. The .NET publish command is executed to publish the application in the release configuration. The use app host equal to false flag is used to prevent the generation of an application host executable. This section set up the final stage for the runtime image. It used the base image defined earlier as base, set the working directory to app, and copies the published output from previous published stage to current working directory. The entry point instruction specifies the command to run when the container starts. In this case, it executes the .NET command with our DLL as the argument. Next, we will check the default controller created by Web API template. We will try to run Web API project. It will take few seconds. Application is loaded. You can see the default API. We will try to run the API. Execute. API has been executed and it returns the values. Cloud Source Repository. Cloud Source Repository is a version control system offered by GCP that allows developers to store, manage, and collaborate source code and related files. In this session, we will create a new Cloud Source Repository and we will push the source code into this repository. First, we will create a project. Go to GCP console, select project dropdown, create new project, enter project name, Create. Project has been created. Next, we will create repository. Search for Cloud Source. You can see Cloud Source Repository is listed below. Select. Click on Cloud Source Repositories. Click on Add Repository. Here we have two options are available. We can create a new repository or we can connect external repository. We are going to create a new repository. Select Create New Repository. Provide a name for repository. Select Project. Create. Repository has been created. Next, we will push the code into this repository. Here you can see two options are available. Push code from a local Git repository. Clone your repository to a local Git repository. We are going to select first one because we have already created the source code. You can see the authentication methods below. Three options are available: SSH authentication, Google Cloud SDK, manually generated credential. We are going to use manually generated credential. Click on that. The first step is we need to generate and store the Git credentials. Copy the credential values. Go to Visual Studio. Open Terminal. Paste the values. Copy the repository URL. Next, we need to add to source control. In bottom right corner, you can see Add to source control. Click on that. Click on existing remote. Paste repository URL in remote URL field. Click on create and push. Now code is pushed to repository. We will check the repository. Go to GCP console. Refresh repository. You can see all the files are uploaded. Artifact Registry is a managed service provided by GCP that allows users to store, manage, and deploy various types of artifacts such as Docker container, Maven packages, and NPM modules. It serves as a centralized repository for storing software packages and dependencies, providing version control and efficient distribution. Go to GCP console, search for Artifact Registry. You can see Artifact Registry is listed below. Select on that. We need to enable Artifact Registry API. Enable. Click on Create Repository button. A name for repository. Format, you can see different options are available. By default, it's selected as Docker. Mode as standard. Location type region. Select a region. I have selected US Central one. Then create. Repository has been created. Right now we don't have any images inside this repository. We will create and push the images using Cloud Build service. Cloud Build is a fully managed continuous integration and a continuous delivery platform provided by GCP. It enables developers to automate and streamline the building, testing, and deployment. Go to GCP console, search for Cloud Build. You can see the Cloud Build. Select. We need to enable Cloud Build API. Enable. In the left menu, you can see triggers. Click on Create Trigger. First, we need to provide name and region. Then we need to select the event. By default, it will be push to branch. We have other options also available. We are going to use the first option. Next, we need to select the source, select repository. You can see Cloud Run repository is listed below. Select on that, then branch. Next, we need to do the configuration. First, we need to select the type. You can see three options are available: Docker build configuration file, Dockerfile, and build packs. We are going to use first option. YAML file we can select from the repository or we can use inline. First, we will try with the inline. Before we are going to create, we will try to build the image using Docker desktop. Go to console, change the directory into source code location. For building image, we need to use docker build command with the arguments docker build -t. This flag specifies the name and tag of the image being built. Name is basically registry path / application name, then tag name. Registry path we can get it from GCP console. Go to GCP console, copy, paste. Application name, version. -f flag specifies the Dockerfile path. In this case, our project name / Dockerfile. Next, we need to pass build context. In this case, it's current directory. So we can simply pass dot. Execute the command. It will take few seconds. Image build is completed. We can check the images by using docker images command. You can see the newly created image. The same way we will try in Cloud Build service. Go to GCP console, select inline, open editor. For writing build config file, we need to follow the YAML syntax. We need to create two steps. One step for building the image and another step for push the image into Artifact Registry. Name is gcr.io/cloudbuilders/docker. This specifies the name of the builder image to be used for this step. In this case, it's Cloud Build Builder Image for Docker, which is provided by Google. Next, args. This specifies the argument that will be passed to the Docker command within the builder image. We will follow the same step we are used in Docker desktop. Build -t image name -f Dockerfile path, then build context as dot. This step is used for pushing the image into Artifact Registry. For that, we can use docker push command. Name, args. First argument is push, then image name. Image name we can copy from here. Now our build configuration is completed. Done. For time being, service account we can leave it as it is. It will take default service account. Create. Trigger has been created. Now we will try to run the trigger. Run trigger. Builder has been started. Click on show. It will take few minutes to complete. Build is completed. We will check the log. In build summary, you can see two steps. First step we used for building the image. You can see the image name. Second step we used for pushing images into Artifact Registry. Click on execution details. You can see the build ID, status, region, time, repository name, branch, and commit. You can see the service account. We didn't configure the service account. If you are not configured, it will take the default service account. You can see the default service account name. In the build step, you can see the Docker build command. We passed it as different arguments. You can see that build command. Next, we will check the artifact registry. You can see new image is created. Click on that. You can see the version number and you can see the pull command as well. Next, we will create Google Cloud Run. Go to GCP console. Search for Cloud Run. You can see Cloud Run is listed below. Click on that. Create service. We need to select an existing container image from a container registry. Click on select. Here we have two options. One is Artifact Registry and another one is Container Registry. We are going to use Artifact Registry. Under the Artifact Registry, you can see Cloud Run Artifact Registry. Under that, you can see an image called Web API and with tag v1. Select. We need to provide a service name. Then we need to select a region. Here I am going to select US Central 1. CPU allocation, auto scaling. For time being, leave it as it is. And select allow direct access to your service from the internet. Next, we need to select authentication. We are going to select allow unauthenticated. Next, we need to configure container. Click on Container Network Security. Under the Container tab, you can see container port. That's we need to change to 80 because our container port is running on 80. I'm not changing other configurations. Next, we need to add one environment variable. Add variable ASP.NET Core environment. Value is development. Then create. Cloud Run is created and deployment has been started. It will take few seconds. Deployment is completed. You can see the image URL, port, environment variable. This environment variable we provided while creating the service. You can see the revision YAML file as well. On top, you can see the application URL. Click on that. Swagger application has been loaded. We will try to execute the default API. Values are returning. It's working fine. Next, we will configure continuous deployment. If any new image is pushed to Artifact Registry, we need to manually deploy inside Cloud Run service. We can enable continuous deployment inside the Cloud Build. Open editor. We need to add one more step. We are going to use Google SDK. Next, we need to pass arguments, args, run, deploy, web API. These are the arguments passed to the gcloud command within the container. It is instructing the gcloud tool to run the deploy command for web API Cloud Run service. Next, image. This argument specifies the Docker image to use for the deployment. Region. Next, we need to provide the region. We are using US Central 1 region. Next, we need to specify platform. We are using managed platform provided by Google Cloud Run. Next, we need to set a environment variable. We are setting ASP.NET Core environment is development. Finally, we need to set entry point, that is gcloud. Build configuration is completed. Now we will save. We will try to run the build. Build has been started. It will take few minutes. Build is completed. You can see the last step. So you can see the gcloud command as well. We will check the Cloud Run service as well. You can see the revision. We will try to run the application. Application is loading. Now build is configured by using inline method. Next we will try with the YAML file. We need to create YAML file inside our source code. Go to Visual Studio. Add new item. Provide a name. cloudbuild.yaml. We will copy the inline command and paste the same value inside the YAML file. Copy, paste. In trigger, change the location to repository. We need to give YAML file. In our case, YAML file is inside the project folder. So we need to give the project folder /YAML file and save. We will push the code into repository. Inside the repository, you can see the YAML file. Build is started. It will take few minutes. Build is completed. We will check inside Cloud Run service. You can see the new revision. I hope you are understood this session. If you have any question, please put them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.